Hey everyone! In today's video, I'm joined by our friend Ayub. Say hi, Ayub.
Hi friends, hope you're all doing well while watching this video.
Today, we're going to discuss our journey of learning English. We'll share the challenges.
Tips and take small steps towards speaking English confidently.
Chapter 1: The Road to Fluency.
We live in a small, quiet town.
But we have big dreams. We want to become international travel guides.
We imagine ourselves leading groups of tourists from all over the world.
We want to show them beautiful places, tell them stories, and help them understand our country's culture.
We want to visit faraway places, meet interesting people, and most of all, make real connections. But there's a big problem.
We don't feel confident speaking English. We learned some English in school.
But speaking it fluently is much harder than we thought.
Every time we try to speak English, we get nervous. We worry about making mistakes and sounding silly.
Sometimes we don't even try. We keep thinking about all the words and rules we don't know yet, and this fear holds us back,
Our dream of becoming travel guides feels.
like it's slipping away. Deep down, we know that speaking English is important if we want to reach our goals.
One sunny afternoon, we decide to go to a small cafe in town.
Hoping a change of scenery might help,
We find a cozy corner, order coffee, and try to relax.
as we sip our drinks, we hear voices behind us.
When we turn around, we see a group of people at the next table speaking in English.
They are laughing, chatting, and sharing stories. Their conversation sounds natural and effortless. The way they speak is smooth and confident, like music flowing through the room.
The rhythm of fluent English fills the space with energy. We can't help but feel a spark inside us as we listen.
That's what we want, we think.
We want to speak like that.
We want to share stories in English just as easily.
Just like them, we imagine ourselves in their place, speaking English confidently with people from different countries.
Connecting with them, laughing, and sharing ideas.
For the first time, a strong determination rises within us.
We know it won't be easy, and we'll face many challenges, but we decide that day to give it our all. We want to make our dream a reality.
That evening, we go home feeling inspired.
We take out a notebook and write our goal in big, bold letters.
We will speak English fluently.
We make a promise to ourselves. We'll practice every day.
Even if it's just for a few minutes, we know each effort will bring us closer to fluency.
We feel a surge of hope as we close our notebook. We don't know exactly how we'll get there, but the first step is believing that we can.
But we don't stop. Every time we feel nervous or shy, we remember those people in the cafe, speaking so naturally.
We hold on to that image for inspiration. It's like we're on our own little language island, like Robinson Crusoe.
He was stranded on an island and had to learn everything, step by step, to survive. At first, he didn't know exactly what to do.
But he figured it out over time.
Crusoe learned to build a shelter, find food, and make a life for himself.
Our journey to learn English feels similar.
We don't know everything yet, but we're learning as we go. Each day, we find small ways to move forward.
Every new word we learn and every sentence we speak feels like a step toward building our own shelter in this new language.
We imagine a future day when we'll finally feel at home with English. We picture ourselves leading a group of tourists, sharing stories confidently.
And connecting with people from around the world. This image keeps us going and fuels our desire to learn.
The journey may be long, but the spark of our dream has turned into a small.
Steady flame. We're ready to keep going, one step at a time.
Chapter 2: Overcoming Fear.
The next week, I decide to take my commitments seriously.
And sign up for a beginner's English course at the local community center.
I feel nervous, but also excited. This is my first real step toward fluency.
When I arrive, I see a few other students who, like me, seem a bit unsure. Some are older, some younger, but we all share the same goal.
It's comforting to know I'm not alone on this journey. Our teacher is kind and patient, and she begins the first lesson with a warm smile.
She starts by teaching us simple greetings and phrases. As we go through the basics, I realize just how much I don't know.
Even the simplest sentences feel challenging, and I keep stumbling over words, feeling clumsy and frustrated.
Part of me wonders if I'm too old to be learning like this, but another part of me is determined to keep going.
This is the path I chose, and I'm not giving up.
During one of the lessons, I meet a few other students who feel just as nervous as I do.
There's Ria, who wants to learn English to apply for a better job.
And Samir, who hopes to study abroad someday. We quickly become friends and start sitting together in class.
After each lesson, we stay back to practice what we've learned.
We laugh at our mistakes and help each other with tricky words.
Ria and I try out basic conversations.
And even though we sometimes stumble or get things wrong,
It feels great to have someone to practice with.
one evening after class, Ria and Samir suggest that we start a study group.
We can meet a few times a week to practice even more.
Ria says, I think it will help us improve faster. I agree, feeling relieved.
Practicing with them feels safe because we're all beginners and there's no pressure to be perfect.
We decide to meet at a park near the community center after our classes.
In our study group, we start with simple exercises like introducing ourselves and talking about our day in English.
Sometimes we bring small flashcards with new vocabulary words and try to use them in sentences.
It's not easy. We still make a lot of mistakes. But instead of feeling embarrassed, we laugh it off and keep trying.
We laugh about it, and slowly, I start to feel more comfortable speaking.
The fear of making mistakes fades a little, and I realize that practicing with friends makes the process more enjoyable.
It's like we're building a foundation together.
Brick by brick, one word at a time.
One day, Ria dares me to go up to a tourist in the park and say hello.
My heart pounds and my hands get sweaty.
Part of me wants to back out.
But another part of me knows that this is an important step.
If I can speak to someone who doesn't speak my native language, I'll feel braver. So,
I take a deep breath and walk up to a tourist sitting on a bench.
looking at a map, I smile nervously and say,
Hello? Can I help you?
the tourist looks up, smiles back, and says, oh yes, thank you. I'm looking for the museum.
For a moment, I'm so surprised he understood me. I quickly give him directions, trying to use the phrases we learned in class.
It's not perfect, and I stumble a little, but he thanks me and walks away.
I feel a surge of excitement, like I've just crossed a big milestone.
I actually did it. I spoke English with a stranger. It was a small interaction, but to me,
It feels like a huge step forward. I share the experience with Ria and Samir, and they cheer me on, encouraging me to keep practicing.
that small success makes me feel a little braver, a little more capable.
I start looking forward to our study group even more and realize that having friends who share my struggles and support my growth makes the journey so much easier.
I know I have a long way to go, but for the first time, I feel like I'm truly on my way.
Like Robinson Crusoe building his shelter from scratch, I'm building my confidence in English bit by bit.
I still stumble, but each mistake feels less like a failure and more like a lesson.
Now I'm beginning to see that every small victory counts, and each step I take brings me closer to my dream.
Chapter 3: Small Steps Forward.
As the days pass,
I realize that speaking English isn't just about using the right words, it's also about understanding others.
I want to sound natural, to flow with the language instead of stopping and starting.
And trying to remember each word.
My teacher suggests an exercise that seems simple, but proves to be very powerful: listening.
She tells us the more you listen, the more you'll understand. Just listen to English whenever you can.
That night, I go home and search for English videos.
I find one that looks interesting, a short documentary about animals.
At first, it's challenging. The people in the video speak quickly, and I catch only a few words.
But instead of giving up, I keep listening.
I tell myself that understanding even a little is progress.
I sit with my notebook and jot down words I recognize. Slowly, I start to catch the general meaning of the sentences, even if I don't understand every single word.
The next day in class, I mention this to Ria, and she says,
Why don't we try listening to English songs too?
"That sounds like fun." So after class, we head to a nearby cafe with Samir.
We play a few popular English songs and try to guess the lyrics, laughing as we mix up words and make silly guesses.
It's surprising how music helps. The rhythm makes it easier to catch phrases and get a feel for the language.
And the melody make it easier to remember words. Soon, I find myself humming the tunes and repeating phrases I've heard.
Listening to English every day becomes a routine.
I try different things. I watch short YouTube videos, listen to songs, and sometimes even play English podcasts.
Some words are difficult, but I don't let that stop me.
We focus on the overall meaning instead of getting stuck on each word. Bit by bit.
We notice an improvement. Words that once sounded strange now feel familiar, and phrases start to come more naturally.
Words we couldn't understand before start making sense.
One night, we stumble upon a podcast about travel stories, and we're immediately hooked.
The host talks about different countries, sharing funny experiences and cultural insights.
Even though we don't understand every word, the excitement in his voice and the stories he tells make us feel connected.
It feels as if we're traveling with him, experiencing the adventures through his words.
This sparks something inside us, reminding us exactly why we wanted to learn English in the first place.
Listening to his stories,
We feel motivated to keep going.
to push through the tough parts so that one day we can share our own stories.
As our listening improves, we start noticing the little things, the tone people use.
How they stress certain words and the pauses in between.
We realize these details add life to the language. English isn't just about the words.
It's about how we say them, too. Watching movies and hearing different accents,
We begin to pick up on these subtle nuances.
making the language feel even more vibrant and real to us. It's like opening a new door into the language, realizing that English has its own rhythm and character.
One evening in our study group, Ria shares that she's been watching a series in English with subtitles.
Saying it's helped her understand conversations better. Intrigued.
We decide to give it a try. We find a show that looks interesting and start watching with English subtitles. At first,
We read every word, focusing on matching the sounds to the text.
but soon we start understanding without needing the subtitles as much.
Watching the characters' expressions and hearing their tone,
We can guess the meaning without needing to read along.
it feels like a breakthrough. English is slowly becoming something we can understand naturally.
In class, we can now follow conversations a bit better, and we feel more confident speaking up.
Our teacher notices our progress and smiles, saying, "Listening is the secret."
The more you listen, the easier speaking becomes. She's right.
Without realizing it, listening has become the foundation of our learning journey.
Our learning has reached a new level. We've started thinking in English.
Hearing phrases in our minds even when we're not studying.
It feels like the language is becoming a part of us, something we carry with us everywhere we go.
By the end of the month, we feel like we've made a real shift. We may not be fluent yet, but we're on our way.
We understand more than before, and our speaking feels smoother.
Just as Robinson Crusoe gradually learned the rhythms of the island,
We're beginning to learn the rhythm of English.
listening has opened up a whole new world for us of understanding.
And we're eager to explore it further, knowing that each word, each story brings us closer to our dream.
Chapter 4, Finding Inspiration.
As we continue our journey to speak English fluently,
We realize that practice is the most important part.
we know we need to make the most of every opportunity to improve our speaking skills.
So, we decide to seek out new ways to build our confidence and improve our fluency.
One Saturday morning, we visit a local language exchange event we heard about from a friend.
The idea is simple. People come together to practice speaking different languages.
We arrive feeling a bit nervous but excited to try something new.
And we feel a mix of excitement and fear as we enter the room filled with chatter and laughter.
We take a deep breath, reminding ourselves that everyone is there to learn, just like we are. Looking around,
We spot a few people who seem approachable. Gathering our courage.
we walk up to a friendly-looking group,
"Hi, where are you?" we say.
trying to sound confident despite our nerves.
They greet us warmly, and we learn that they are also learning English. We start talking.
And we find ourselves easing into the conversation.
We share a bit about our dream of becoming a travel guide.
Just talking about our passion makes us feel more comfortable.
During our conversation, we realize we don't have to be perfect. Everyone makes mistakes, and that's okay.
The more we speak, the more we find ourselves thinking in English instead of translating from our native language.
We start using phrases we've practiced in class, and they flow more easily than before.
Our hearts race with excitement when we catch ourselves expressing thoughts naturally in English.
Clearly and without hesitation. As the weeks pass, we attend more language exchange events.
Each time, we feel a little braver and a little more fluent.
We meet people from different countries, each with their own story and language journey. Sometimes,
We even help them practice our native language.
it's fulfilling to share what we know.
And to see their faces light up when they understand a new word or phrase.
One evening, we meet a traveler named Jake from Canada.
He's visiting our town and wants to practice his English while also exploring new cultures.
We hit it off quickly, exchanging stories about our journeys to learn new languages.
As we learn about the local culture, we end up spending a few hours talking about our lives, dreams, and the places we hope to visit.
Jake encourages us to tell stories in English, so we share our plans to become a travel guide. He listens closely and gives helpful feedback.
showing us ways to make our ideas clearer.
His support really boosts our confidence. Inspired by our talk, we start writing short travel stories in English.
We keep a journal where we describe our favorite places and experiences in our town.
At first, finding the right words feels challenging, but we remind ourselves of all the listening and practice we've done.
We push forward, focusing on sharing our thoughts instead of worrying about mistakes.
Writing helps us organize our ideas, and we enjoy the creative process. It feels like we're not just learning a language, we're also finding a new way to express ourselves.
Encouraged by our progress, we decide to share one of our stories at the next language exchange event.
Our hearts beat fast as we get ready to read it aloud.
But we know this is an important step for us. When the moment arrives, we stand in front of the group.
Take a deep breath and start reading. As we speak, we notice the supportive smiles of our new friends, which give us the courage to keep going.
We stutter a bit and mispronounce a few words, but the audience listens closely and claps when we finish.
Their encouragement makes us feel proud and accomplished.
From that moment, we realize that practice is the key to building confidence every time we speak in English.
Whether it's sharing a story, joining a conversation, or helping someone else learn, we feel ourselves getting stronger.
The fear that once held us back begins to fade, replaced by a new sense of confidence.
We realize that every conversation and every story brings us closer to our dream. With each step, we're not just learning a language.
We're also discovering who we are and what we can achieve. We are becoming the confident speakers we've always wanted to be.
Ready to embrace the adventures waiting for us in the world of travel. Chapter 5: The Power of Practice.
As we keep practicing our English, we begin to understand that making mistakes is a natural part of learning.
At first, we felt embarrassed whenever we stumbled over words or forgot a phrase.
But now, we see those moments in a new way. Each mistake is a lesson that helps us grow.
We remind ourselves that every great speaker has faced challenges along the way. One evening, during our study group, Ria shares her experience from a recent job interview.
She spoke with confidence and didn't let small errors hold her back.
She spoke about her skills and qualifications in English.
But she made a few mistakes along the way.
I was so nervous, but I kept going.
She says with a smile.
In the end, they appreciated my effort, even though I didn't get every word right.
Hearing her story inspires us. It shows that even when we make mistakes, we can still leave a positive impression.
Encouraged by Ria's story, we decide to accept our own mistakes. Instead of avoiding hard conversations,
We push ourselves to engage more, even if we're not fully confident. We remember the night we spoke to a tourist in the park.
in that moment, we had taken a chance, and it turned out to be a valuable experience.
We want to create more moments like that for ourselves.
One Saturday, we go to another language exchange event. We feel especially adventurous and decide to start a conversation with a group of native English speakers.
As we walk over, our hearts race, but we remind ourselves that we have nothing to lose.
We introduce ourselves and ask them about their travels.
They seem friendly and excited to chat, which helps calm our nerves.
As we talk, we notice that we struggle with some words, and our sentences aren't always perfect.
We stutter and pause, searching for the right phrases. However, instead of feeling embarrassed, we focus on the conversation.
The group is encouraging, and they gently correct our mistakes when needed. One of them even says,
It's great that you're practicing. Keep it up.
their kindness reassures us and helps us relax.
Over the following weeks, we notice a change in our attitude. We start to see mistakes as stepping stones rather than obstacles.
When we mispronounce a word or mix up tenses, we laugh it off and correct ourselves.
We've learned that it's okay not to be perfect and that each mistake is a chance to learn something new.
To challenge ourselves even more, we decide to join a public speaking club that meets once a week.
The idea of speaking in front of a crowd is intimidating, but we're eager to improve.
At the first meeting, we sit in a circle with others who are also learning to speak confidently.
We feel a mix of excitement and nervousness.
As we listen to everyone sharing their stories, our turn finally comes.
We take a deep breath and tell a short story about our journey to learn English.
We talk about our struggles, our progress, and the friends we've made along the way.
Our voices shake a little, and we stumble over a few words, but we keep going.
When we finish, the group applauds, and we feel a rush of pride.
It's a small victory, but it reminds us of how far we've come. Over time, we become more comfortable speaking in front of others.
We start trying out new ways to express ourselves, and sometimes we use humor. Other times, we share personal stories.
Each time we speak, we feel a bit more confident, as if we're letting go of fear and insecurity.
We realize that sharing our experiences not only helps us improve, but also brings us closer to others.
As we think about our journey, we feel grateful for every step we've taken.
The moments of doubt and frustration have helped us become stronger.
We've learned to embrace mistakes, knowing they are an important part of our growth.
We also realize how important community is. Our friends, study group, and language exchange partners have supported us every step of the way.
We celebrate each other's successes, no matter how small, and we motivate each other to keep going.
This sense of belonging fuels our drive to learn.
By the end of this chapter in our journey, we understand that speaking English fluently isn't just about knowing vocabulary or grammar.
It's about connecting with others and sharing our story with each conversation. Over the next few days,
We dive into researching how to start a blog.
we learn about different platforms, writing styles, and how to attract an audience.
We feel a blend of excitement and nervousness as we plan our first few posts.
We want to create content that is both relatable and helpful, something that reflects our journey and encourages others to start their own. After setting up our blog,
We write our first post titled My Journey to Speaking English Fluently.
we share our story, the struggles, the triumphs, and the moments that have shaped us along the way.
We write about the language exchange events, the friends we've made, and the lessons we've learned from our mistakes.
As we type, we feel a deep sense of fulfillment. Writing our story reminds us of how far we've come and how much more we still want to achieve.
Once we hit the publish button, we feel a rush of excitement mixed with anxiety.
What if no one reads it? What if they don't find it interesting?
But deep down, we remind ourselves that this is about sharing our journey, not just seeking validation.
To our surprise, within a few days, we start receiving comments from readers who connect with our experiences.
Some share their own struggles with learning English, while others express gratitude for the encouragement.
We realize that our words have the power to connect people, and this fuels our desire to keep writing.
As our blog gains traction, we decide to host a small online workshop on learning English through travel stories.
We invite people from our language exchange group and other friends interested in improving their language skills.
We plan a fun, interactive session where we can share travel anecdotes, practice speaking, and learn new vocabulary together.
On the day of the workshop, we feel a mix of excitement and nervousness.
As participants join the video call, we introduce ourselves and share our journey, just as we did in our first blog post.
Then, we invite everyone to share their own travel stories.
The atmosphere quickly fills with laughter and enthusiasm as we exchange experiences and learn from each other.
During the workshop, we notice that people who were initially shy start to open up.
They share funny travel mishaps, cultural surprises, and their own dreams of exploring the world.
We feel proud to be creating this space for them to connect and grow.
This experience reinforces our belief that learning a language isn't just about grammar and vocabulary.
It's about connecting with others and sharing experiences.
After the workshop, we receive messages from participants expressing how much they enjoyed it and how inspired they feel to keep learning.
Their feedback warms our hearts and reminds us why we started this journey.
We realize that we want to continue hosting these workshops regularly, building a supportive community for language learners.
Encouraged by this success, we start exploring other ways to share our passion.
We think about creating a YouTube channel where we can share travel tips, language learning advice, and personal stories.
Video content feels intimidating, but we remind ourselves that it's another chance to connect with people and inspire them.
We start researching how to create engaging videos and learn some editing techniques.
Once we feel ready, we film our first video where we discuss our favorite travel destinations.
And how each one has helped us grow and learn.
We talk about how these experiences have helped us improve our English.
We share personal stories, tips for overcoming language barriers, and the joy of exploring new cultures.
As we edit the video, we feel a mix of excitement and nerves about putting ourselves out there again.
When we finally upload it, we feel both vulnerable and hopeful. Just like with our blog, we remind ourselves that this is about sharing our journey and connecting with others.
Over the next few weeks, we receive comments and messages from viewers who appreciate our authenticity, openness, and passion. Some viewers share their own travel experiences and ask for advice on learning English, and we genuinely enjoy interacting with them.
This journey of sharing our passion continues to deepen our love for language learning.
Each blog post, each workshop, and each video feels like a step toward building a supportive community where we all help each other in our journeys.
We realize we're not just learning to speak English. We're becoming part of something much larger, a network of people who encourage and uplift one another.
As we reflect on how far we've come, we feel a deep sense of gratitude.
The challenges we've faced have shaped us into more confident speakers and passionate storytellers.
We feel excited about the future and all the possibilities that lie ahead.
We know the journey to fluency is ongoing, but we're ready to embrace every opportunity.
Challenge and connection along the way.
We look forward to sharing our experiences and inspiring others to pursue their own dreams of speaking English fluently.
Chapter 8: Connecting Through Culture and Language.
As we continue to share our journey through our blog and videos, we become increasingly aware of the role of culture in language learning.
We realize that understanding the culture behind a language deepens communication and connection.
Speaking English isn't just about words and grammar. It's about understanding the people who speak it and the context in which they live.
One day, we receive an email from a reader named Liam from the UK.
He shares that he enjoys our blog and is interested in learning more about our culture in India.
This sparks an idea. Why not create a series of posts that highlight the cultural aspects of our country and how they influence language learning?
We realize that exploring our cultural differences can deepen our understanding of each other and lead to meaningful conversations.
We begin researching various cultural topics, from traditional festivals and foods to customs and values.
We write our first post titled Five Unique Indian Festivals and Their Significance, where we describe vibrant celebrations like Diwali and Holi, sharing the customs and traditions associated with each festival.
We also explain how these events can be wonderful opportunities for language learners to practice their English skills while connecting with locals.
When we publish the post, we feel a wave of excitement. We're not just sharing our experiences.
We're also offering insights into our culture that can help others understand the context of our conversations.
To our delight, we receive positive feedback from readers, including Liam, who appreciate the deeper cultural perspective.
Liam expresses interest in visiting India someday and asks questions about our favorite festival.
We eagerly respond, feeling a sense of pride in our heritage.
Encouraged by the positive response, we start creating more cultural content. We write about traditional Indian cuisine, explaining popular dishes like biryani and dosa, and even share simple recipes for readers to try.
We also explore cultural norms, such as the importance of hospitality and family values in Indian society.
Each post brings us closer to understanding our own culture and helps others connect with it too.
Through language, we dive deeper into this project and think about ways to bring people together to experience our cultures firsthand.
Inspired by our earlier workshops, we decide to organize an online cultural exchange event.
We invite friends from our language exchange group and readers of our blog, aiming to create a space where we can share our cultures, learn from each other, and practice English in a fun, engaging way.
On the day of the event, we feel a mix of excitement and nerves. We prepare a presentation showcasing different aspects of Indian culture, including music, dance, and clothing.
We also encourage participants to share something unique about their own cultures.
As the event begins, we're greeted by enthusiastic faces from around the world, each person eager to connect and share. As we present, we feel a deep joy in sharing our culture.
The participants ask questions and make comments, and we can see their interest growing.
When it's their turn to share, we hear fascinating stories from various countries.
Each story is filled with rich traditions and unique experiences.
We laugh together, learn from one another, and create a warm, friendly atmosphere. One participant, Maya from Brazil, shares a beautiful story.
About Carnival and how it unites people through music and dance. Her description fascinates us, inspiring us to learn more about her culture.
This exchange of stories reminds us that, despite our differences, we share similar values and experiences.
As the event comes to a close, we feel an overwhelming sense of fulfillment.
We've created connections across cultures, and participants express how much they enjoyed the experience.
They thank us for organizing the event and share how it has motivated them to learn more about different cultures and languages.
The success of this cultural exchange sparks an idea for a new series on our blog, Cultural Conversations.
In this series, we plan to feature guest posts from friends and readers around the world, allowing them to share their unique cultural experiences.
We believe this will not only enrich our blog, but also create a platform for diverse voices and stories. Over the next few months,
We reach out to friends we've met through our language exchange and blogging community, inviting them to contribute.
we're amazed by the variety of perspectives and experiences that come our way. Each guest post introduces new cultural insights, language tips, and personal stories that resonate with our readers.
We learn about customs from different countries, the challenges of learning new languages, and the beauty of connecting with others across cultures.
As we compile these stories, we realize that language learning is a shared journey.
Each person's experience is unique, but we all face similar challenges and triumphs.
This understanding deepens our appreciation for the power of language as a bridge connecting us across borders.
Reflecting on our journey, we see that learning English has transformed our lives in ways we never imagined.
It has opened doors to new friendships, opportunities, and experiences.
More importantly, it has allowed us to share our passion for travel and culture, creating connections with people around the world.
We feel grateful for every step we've taken, from the first hesitant words we spoke to the vibrant conversations we now enjoy.
We look forward to continuing this journey, embracing new challenges, and celebrating the beauty of language and culture.
Together, we can inspire each other to reach our goals, explore new horizons, and create a world where language brings us closer together. Please don't forget to subscribe for more video. See you next lesson.